apologize ahead of time for not being able to post yesterday's video in a timely fashion. My internet was down and I couldn't upload anything. Sorry. Today we're going to be talking about background. So we just talked about character earlier today. Today we're going to be talking about background. Background of the character. Now, when I create background, there's quite a few things I like to cover. With not all of my characters, but with the major and minor characters. With the major characters, I like to have where they're born, and I like to have kind of a concept of their family history. Their parents, a little bit about their parents, a little bit about their grandparents, a little bit about family stories they might have had. That way I can make them feel more realistic, like they actually had life. But I don't need to detail it all out because the main character might not know everything about their family, alright? I like to include different stages too, like their life for their infancy, their childhood, their adolescence, their young adult life, and old age, depending on how old the character is. I like to talk about their origins, where do they come from, type stuff. Their experiences, I like to flesh out. If they had any spiritual awakenings or personal awakenings, I like to include all of that stuff. Their impulses, if they've done any impulsive things that have results in their life. Special events, things that really touch them. I think we already covered relatives. Their friends, growing up, maybe they had a best friend and this friend was like that. And maybe I might include a little bit about the friend too. Just so we have the influences. Right? I like to put quite a bit about their parents, like what happened to their parents. Are their parents still around? What fate happened to their parents? Are their parents a mystery? Are they an orphan? Are the family still around? Any family crises? Any familial goals that were put inside them, Siblings, that type of stuff. Enemies, I like to talk about their romantic life. Have they had any type of crushes? How do they act towards the opposite sex or whatever sex they are pursuing? A tragic love affair, maybe. Any type of love affairs they might have had. When I talk about their adult life, I'm more or less focusing on their profession, their love affairs, once again. If they have any enemies, if any things happen that made them especially lucky, like good things that happened to them. Accidents, that's really important to me to put in there. You want to try to gather as much information, like you're writing a kind of like a biography for your character. And you don't have to be really detailed about it, just be kind of vague. But if you have a bunch of details about the character, they're gonna kind of come alive to you. And once they've come alive to you, you will understand the way they think because you've melded minds with the person. You know where they came from. So in that way, you can kind of have an understanding with them. Now, when I talk about all these things, I'm speaking so vaguely that it's like I can't really put much detail into this. But if you keep in mind all those little things I listed, in which I have them right up on screen, these little details, just a couple of sentences about each one of them, and you'll have a pretty firm background for your character. And then after you're done getting all these little sentences, you can put it together and put it in kind of like a story format. Not really a story format, but a notes format that's going to work for you. Remember, everything you're doing right now is to be working towards your goal of writing the book. Now, if you don't want to have all this extra information, you don't have to. You don't even have to put backstories for your characters. I would highly suggest it because I think it makes you a better writer to have better information about your characters. And also, it'll seem more realistic because certain points in the story, you're going to be putting your own spin on the character, right? You're going to want them to do something. But then maybe an experience happened in their life that they wouldn't do that. And you could bring out a reason why they're not doing that or whatever because of that experience. And that's going to put more real, a flavor of reality to the story that's going to draw your reader in. Once again, everything that you're doing now is to draw your reader in and have them immersed. Because the more immersed they will get inside the story, the more they'll become part of your story. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because your goal as a writer is not to write a story that you're telling the reader. That's not your goal at all. Your goal is to make your reader the main character. And that is a very tricky thing to do, but that is your ultimate goal. So I think, I don't know. I don't know. I think this is, Really, if you can just focus on the key things to focus on is just fleshing out their infancy, their childhood, their adolescence, their young adult life, and old age. And stop wherever, obviously, if the character is an adolescent, you're not going to write about their young adult life because they haven't made it there yet. Now, if you're writing a time traveler book, it might behoove you to do that. You also might want to list out if they have any events happen to them that change their life a lot. And I'm not talking about just like massive tragedies, but I'm talking about an event that really changes your life. We all had events in life that have changed us, for better or for worse. But if there is a key moment in their life that changed them and made them reevaluate their life, it's good to flesh that out too a little bit. So, I guess that's all I can really say for this. That's how you write a character background, or these are the things to think about when you're writing your character background. All this will go into way more detail when I'm actually writing my story. So, you'll be able to see how I do it, and hopefully by the example, you'll see how to do it for yourself. Alright guys, well I hope you guys have a blessed and wonderful day, and I hope you enjoyed this, and go and write, guys.